Hey, everybody, welcome to the witching hour, the hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. I have a very special friend for you today, and we're going to flip things because witches like to do that. She's going to interview me instead of me interviewing her because she is one of my dear friends. She's also my coven sister in the Witches movie Coven. She is also my editor and my publisher at Llewellyn for my new book, Dollcraft. So I'm proud to introduce you, my beautiful friend, Heather Green. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you, Patty. I'm so happy to be here, and I am honored to be able to take your place and be the interviewer and on your podcast.
And
Couldn't think of another person that I'd want to interview and chat about these subjects with. Honestly, I
you know,
think we're kindred spirits when it comes to the subject we're about to discuss.
I
Don't you think?
I think we are. You're my sister from another mother, my little sister from another mother. We are both doll girls, and this is something our fabulous mutual producer Rob came up with to do it. Let's reverse it, and we'll figure it out as we go. I am a doll collector my entire life, probably in utero. What is your history with doll? Oh, well, great, you're interviewing.
Wait a
Hannah,
second,
wait,
Patty.
tell us about you and dolls.
Well,
She wrote the forward in this. Honored.
Well, I'm gonna grab the interviewer mic now, and
Okay.
I'm gonna flip that question on you. And I'll just say before I do that, I will just introduce myself. So I am Heather Green, and I did write the forward and edit the book. And I was so pleased as a doll collector and a doll restorer, in a which I was so happy to read your book, Patty, because it was so nice to see um to read your ideas and your concepts of both spiritual work with dolls as well as puppets because they were very much the same as my own and kind of validated my own ideas and concepts in the way I work with dolls and puppets. So that was so wonderful. I've actually used some of the things you've said within my own workshops on dolls that I do out. So I loved reading it. I loved working on it for many reasons. And one was because it really, you and I, again, are kindred spirits. Not only do we both love dolls, but we work with them in the same way. So, yeah. So let's let me interview you
Okay.
now. And I'm going to ask you the question you asked me. I want to know when you started collecting. What was your very first doll?
I believe my very first doll was a Barbie doll. If I turn the camera around, there's hundreds of eyes staring at me, little bitty Barbie doll eyes. I've collected them my whole life. I even just did a TV show where I didn't really get rid of a lot that I was supposed to. But I've always had every kind of dolls. Baby dolls. My mom takes full credit when I was a little kid. 'Cause all the dolls were baby dolls, like newborn baby dolls. They were like Chatty Cathy's and kind of toddler and older dolls. She wanted me to have a baby doll. She went to so many pet stores, not pet toy stores, asking for baby dolls that all of a sudden within the next year, everybody had baby dolls. I don't really think it was my mom, but she takes full credit for it. So I've always been a collector and lover of dolls, and I've always been kind of a magical practitioner. I was the one sitting in my backyard picking rosemary and mint and making concoctions and putting them in my mom's wallet and playing with my dolls with just kind of naturally in me. So
So the
dolls
tea
have
parties you had didn't have empty teacups necessarily. They might have had a little bit of this and a little bit of that mixed in.
exactly, and yes, indeed, I've been doing, doll tea parties for a long, long time, so now to have the opportunity to do this book, from Llewellyn to let other people, other grown-ups, ah,
True.
do have adult tea parties without weird because, it's weird. I mean, I can't see my dad having had a doll collection, but now, oh my god, there's front page news, dolls and adults having dolls and haunted dolls and collections, so a book had to be made.
That's true, but this is a very specific book. It's not just about doll collecting. Those are out there and I personally love those because you and I are both collectors, but we're also witches. So dolls are more than just tchotchkes on shelves. They're more than just dust collectors that we like to look at. They are that maybe in some cases, but they're also magical toys and magical elements and tools. So your book really gets into that, which is amazing in two fronts, both puppets and haunted dolls. So let's all talk a little bit about haunted dolls. So I'm going to ask you the next question, which is similar to the last one. What was the first haunted doll encounter you had? What was the doll in the encounter?
My first serious one, I think I had kind of had almost hybrids of puppets and haunted dolls by creating spirits in my little dolls that were so beloved. I think lots of kids do that. But my biggest first, okay, oh my God, she's a take over your life haunted doll was my little girl Belle in the back right here. Um,
Really?
yes. So I was not early on. I was kind of an expert on hauntings and an expert on dolls, but to have my own and how this even came about was um kind of by mistake. I've been doing ghost adventures for 10 years. I just hit 10 years. Zach knew about my ability with dolls and haunted objects and haunted dolls, even though I hadn't had one. Um, we didn't have one that I claimed as one. Again, I had something I eventually gave to him because it was dark and I didn't like it. But a girl saw me. It wasn't Ghost Adventures, it was a spin-off of Ghost Adventures
Mhm.
called Deadly Possessions. And they brought in Peggy the doll, who was an infamous haunted doll. She's documented given two people heart attacks, and not old people, and made 80 plus people sick, even looking at photos of her. So she saw me holding the little plastic can because it was the 60s of this little Belle doll that looks like a little Doris Day, but gives people heart attacks. And she figured if I could handle Peggy, I could handle Bill. So she contacted me. She said, "Can I send you this doll? I have this beautiful 100 and some year old German doll. I love it. My little girl loves it, but she makes our hair fall out. She makes us physically, emotionally, spiritually sick unless I put her in a drawer. And then she doesn't like the drawer. Can I send her to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes." So she sent me this doll. Um, and I was led by the doll, not by me. I had never done a Facebook Live before. I'm not a Facebook person, really. I used to be, but I'm not. But I'm like, okay, and I know there's an unboxing. I should open this doll on camera. Fif- it wasn't 50,000 people watched me opening this haunted doll sent to me from Belgium. 50,000. I do not have that many followers, and I certainly did not then. I mean, my energy would have drawn maybe 50, not 50,000, but the energy built, and I felt this doll. And then I got out this beautiful doll, but she was so dark. And I'm like, I can't have that in my home. My home has to be, that's my bell right there.
Right.
My home has to be my sanctuary. I do magic here. I do spiritual work here. I do spell casting here. My family is here, my dog, my cat, my husband. I can't have dark. So I would literally not let the sun set until I banish the dark spirit. So people need to know how to do things like that. But I intuitively knew there was a beautiful spirit inside Belle. I just had to let it come out. And she came out really, really slowly, but she was draining people's energy. So I was keeping like Rue is my go-to for when you don't know a doll for I kept a little thing of rue in her little hand, a little bag of rue in her hand, and it kept her from draining anybody who visited me energy. And then this beautiful little girl spirit came out and she became immediately part of the family. We went from the dog and cat not liking her or being here to loving her and being, trust your intuition, look at your pets and see what you're doing. So she was my first official. I have the care and feeding of a haunted doll was to what, not even 10 years ago.
Wow.
Even though
And
I
and
worked with them and people brought them to me at conventions and I'd give them my impression of what I was sensing or seeing or feeling or any warnings or positive or thoughts along the way. But she's my first.
wow,
It's grown a little since then.
that's a
Peggy,
fantastic story. Oh, is that Peggy right there?
that's Peggy the doll. That's the one that gives people heart attacks.
Well, let's not keep her picture up there, because you said it, even looking at her could cause
I know
problems.
people have
Can we
said that.
meet
Oh, then he puts it back.
can we meet Belle, when
We
she
can
comes to the
certainly
camera?
meet Belle. Let me bring this beautiful girl right here.
Belle is an antique doll. I don't know exactly what type she is. You'd have to read the back, but
I do. She's a German doll. It's uh uh Heubach. Heubach. She's numbered 250 of 7. It's a Koppelsdorf, Koppelsdorf.
That's a very big brand name of German dolls from that
There we
period
go.
of time. She's
She's beautiful.
beautiful.
Her
Hello,
eyes are
Belle.
is it now she didn't have a fancy outfit or anything. She just had a little like thrift store baby outfit, which she was not happy with. So another girl in England offered to make her an outfit. She just got a fan club immediately, made her this beautiful dress. What's so funny about this dress now that she's so well cared, it's getting a little tight on her. I think I might be feeding her. It's like, what? That doesn't work. My friend Richard Leal of our movie coven got her these 100-year-old shoes to match the doll. He found her these. So she is the happiest girl. My friend made her a little cloak to match one that I have, this same little lace cloak, so we could do magic together. And people see her all like all the time move. Like she sits behind me and I brought her up here now because we wanted to see her. But I usually don't keep her this close because she pulls attention. And then people start looking, it's like your doll's eyes are moving,
Mhm.
your face, it's like three people in a row can walk in and um oh, Belle's happy today, Belle's happy today, but on what she's happy. And I'm not talking witches or intuitives, regular people. Like the next day, Belle's cranky today, Belle's cranky today. I mean, even though this is porcelain and hasn't moved in well over 100 years, energetically, you could see the full mood. She has composite hands, kind of messed up. She's missing a few fingers, pre-plastic. Um, and she has really cool teeth. The teeth always freak me out. Very
I
cool,
love
real
teeth.
looking teeth. And she's my girl. She likes to put on glamours, and she did it first. Um, this she I need to redo her braids, but this is when I first got her, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Look at I think this is authentic wig. I think this is real hair. This is a cheap, like, Japanese synthetic wig, but for a day and a half, everybody who looked at her going, "And her hair is so real and beautiful." It isn't. She just wanted that hair to be us to look at her beautiful hair.
I had that problem with my old doll is that my old doll is not haunted, same age, but she was also given a fake wig, or not a fake wig, but a plastic wig, the more modern wig. And it was not, it was it was distorting her energy. So I wound up going to France, or not going to France, but I wound up um, ordering from France an authentic wig that was meant for this. I have it right here.
Let's see. Oh, she's beautiful. Who is
Yeah, it's
she?
Haas. This is hold on a second. Her name just blanked on me all of a sudden. Why can't I think of her name? My mind is why we're hold
Okay, she's probably doing it to you.
it's yeah. So anyway, it'll come to me in a second, but anyway, this is my girl. She is also 100 something years old, and she is a different brand, Marseille German doll, but I gave her a um I've got this French wig that's made out of human hair because that's what she originally had. They had given her an awful blonde wig, and it what didn't look like what she originally had. So I gave her, she is not haunted, but she definitely has packed with energy. And that's something you talk about in the book is the different types of old dolls that you can work with, the energy, and it's not what we expect. It's not Chucky when you have a doll. It's not you're not going to have the pitter patter of little feet with a cleaver knife walking down your hallway most likely. And that's what I love about your book. You tell the stories of these scary haunted dolls, but then you say, "Hey, this is not so bad. It's actually quite nice." I love that.
Yeah, because again, if you're calling it a spirit, a disembodied spirit to a doll, most most people are good. If you go to the mall or you go to a movie, most people sitting in there aren't serial killers. They're not Chucky walking around with a knife. So, in the book, I talk about making sure that if you're calling in a spirit, if you're creating your own, call in a good spirit because you don't want it to make you sick or make you argumentative or anything. But most people, I'm going to always hold on to that, are good. So call in yourself a good spirit, and I don't think you want Chucky in your house.
Mm.
No, I did have one doll. She was kind of a statue doll, but she was a doll, and pre pre Bell actually. But eh, it was here in my office, and one day I was noticing I just wasn't going in my office. I didn't like my office. I'm like, why am I not hanging out? I love my little office, my little thing. There's something, and I look around, I go, oh, it's you. So I called Zach. I go, this is too dark. I can't have this in my house. Do you want it? And I showed him a picture. He goes, oh yeah, that's a nail fetish hate doll. I want that. Took it to Vegas that next day, and it started acting up that night. But now it's in a perfect place because it's in a place that nobody sleeps at night. There's not raising a family or animals. It's actually a very warded museum and good. So, but again, I don't ever claim that as being one of my haunted balls because the second something really came into it, I got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think you outline and give people precautions on dealing with something like that. If you just feel, because I've had dolls where they come in and as a restorer, I have probably about $1,500 in my house, and the first thing I do is I can you feel the energy immediately, and if something is a little bit off, as a witch, like you said, you put rue. I think you said rue, and I know in your book you have outlined a few other precautions.
Lots of
Just
different
make
things. There's a
sure,
million things. Work with
yeah,
what you like. Work with the attributes of stuff that you have and that
right.
you work with.
And you don't, and you talk about how it's not necessarily a haunted spirit again. It could be just the energy. And sometimes you have to say goodbye. This is not for me. I love your precautionary and your upbeat tone in it, really encouraging people to work with dolls and work with the haunted dolls or the inspirited dolls in whatever form. And her name is Gladys, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
I'm glad.
You finally released my memory.
Do that. It's like, and especially because it was about her. I'm sure you've never forgotten her name before, and you never forget her name again. But she probably got stage fright for a
I
second.
think a little stage fright because she's never been on camera before, I don't believe. But yeah, she's one, and every once in a while I get a doll in that that needs to be in my collection. And of all the dolls, I've only had, I think, this point, 1, 2 that are really truly what we call haunted. And she is not one of them. But
Right.
she's old and she just lost her shoe. So I'm gonna put her down right here because
Okay,
she's
I'm gonna put Belle down a little bit. I'll put you back here, Belle. And like Belle has her doll Cheryl, who is not haunted, but somebody sent her, so Belle had her own doll. And but Cheryl is the one that finishes on screen. But I'm like, she's not haunted. There's nothing. I know she's not. But we blew up the video and we saw an orb fly from my bookcase into the doll, move the doll 6 inches, and then leave. It probably was Belle's spirit moving her doll, Cheryl.
yeah.
So eh,
That makes sense, and that's how these dolls move is the spirits coming in and out. So Belle was probably playing some games. She wanted to play dolls, you know?
she just with her doll, she wanted to put her more on screen because I was
There you
teaching a
go.
class at the time, Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fun. It's amazing, and that like you said, a lot of people are really into haunted dolls. A lot of adults now. There are conferences and groups on social media, and there's a lot of fakers out there too. So you do provide some cautionary tales about buying and finding them and where to find them and the best ways if you want a haunted doll. Because some people just like want haunted dolls now, right?
They do. Again, thank you, Hollywood, of course, but they aren't all Annabelle or Chucky or uh, Big Robert the doll. All these dolls that we have. You don't. A positively haunted doll can be just as magical, mystical, and spooky as a negative one, but it's not going to drain your energy, make you sick, or make you fight with everybody. It's just she moves around. She will move things around. I hear the pitter patter of little feet when she's upstairs and we're downstairs. But again, she's not gonna bring in dark energy, low vibrational energy in the house.
If someone encounters a doll for sale or is looking for a doll for sale to buy a haunted doll, what's your advice to them? Because there's so many pitfalls. I always have to roll my eyes when I see them online,
Uh,
honestly. Patty, didn't someone once try to sell dolls in your name or something? I mean, there's
yes,
a
I've
lot
seen
of
people selling
pitfalls.
like owned by Patty Negri. I've never seen this doll in my life. Yeah. No. Be beware. Not saying you cannot get a haunted doll online at a Etsy or eBay or whatever. But if you're looking at one seller that's like they've listed 900 haunted dolls to date, each one with this elaborate story of where they got it and where they found it, the exact history of the doll. Maybe they're just a really creative writer, and they went to the thrift store, that antique store, and bought a doll, and unless they called into a spirit to the doll, and you can do that. But but I ethically, what I would do if I called in a spirit, okay, this doll wasn't haunted. I called in a spirit, and then this is you'll get to know the spirit. I wouldn't have that elaborate history of what the doll was. So just be wary of paying, 10 times what you should just because it's got a really good story.
Yeah.
Trust your intuition, all of you,
Yeah.
witches and non-witches. We all have to listen to that gut. We know, we really do.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there are some of them, yeah, there's tons of them online. Some of the dolls I've restored when I've had to research them, there's their variants and there are other ones that are online somewhere as haunted. I'm like, "Oh, this one's definitely not haunted, but there it is."
But there it is.
Someone has one that they think is haunted, but, I like to trust people like you, witches and people that work with this, the paranormal before just random things, but you never know,
Yeah.
I guess. But let's skip, a little bit over to another form of dolls and magic, which are puppets. One of
Yes.
my favorite forms of spellcraft, and I think one of yours as well because
Yeah.
dolls, right?
Yep.
Um so, first, for those people that don't know what a poppet is, because like haunted dolls, poppets have sort of a negative uh, opinion about them. People don't understand what they are, and they think they're something nasty, or they go, "Oh, puppets! I'm not doing that." So, tell us what a poppet is. Just give like you do in the book.
Right. A puppet is a doll, a created spirit that we bring into a doll. You could do it. It's a spell crafting. You stuff it with herbs. I'm not artsy crafty. This is my personal Patty puppet. She's got the one, I wear lots of necklaces, but this is the one necklace I always have on, my little pentacle. Here she has my name on it. Everything I put in her, she represents me. So, like say like right now, I injured my ankle. I might put a little band-aid on her ankle or even stick a pin in it, do my little own acupuncture. I mean, people a lot think, oh, is that a voodoo doll? Are you doing negative magic? But absolutely not at all. You could do puppets for everything. It's adding that human touch into your spellcrafting. You could make a mojo bag, you can make it this and that and do all your candle workings, but again, once you put a face to something and a shape to something, it's going to add that much more magic because we are working with the mind, body, spirit of what creates the psychology world uses. I use that creation working dispatch and creation. I'm going to create a little doll that does this and that. I need money. I need health. I need wealth, whatever that is. And make yourself a doll. So you're going by colors, you're going by paper doll, which we could talk about that, paper napkins, um, all sorts of beautiful things. You don't have to be artsy craftsy. If I can make one, anybody can make one. And even if it's not attractive, like again, this is about as simplistic as you can get. They work just as well. Like Heather, who is artsy craftsy, could make herself a beautiful puppet.
Well, you
Yeah,
don't have to. That's just, they're
you don't
great.
have to.
Puppets are great spellcraft for the crafty person because you can go all out. I mean, you can make a whole something that looks like a doll you purchased in the store, right?
Yes,
They don't have to be. And I love you say that throughout. And I had to chuckle a couple times when I was editing it because you're like, I'm really not crafty. And you kept making
I'm
fun
not
of yourself that way.
crafty.
It was great. It was such a real moment in the book, actually. Like, oh yeah, this is for real. But you have a
Because
lot of recipes for different. You had a lot of recipes for different levels of crafters, like
yeah,
bread recipe. I think you had food based ones too for
I
the
have
for the
food-based
chef in
ones,
you.
food ones you do eat, food ones you don't eat,
Mhm.
clay, mud, material, corn dog, whatever you want. And again, that material can be part of the magic you're working with, either by the color or the material or not. But the begins the second you are starting to make. I need one for say love or whatever that is. So whether you're running over to Michael's to get something nice pink for love or red for passion, and oh, what am I going to stuff it with? Oh, I'm going to stuff it with some lavender or some whatever that you're doing, your spell begins then. So the whole process, whether you're sewing it up or you bought one on Etsy that actually has a zipper in the back that you can unzip and put your herbs and your stones and your tag locks within too. So this is a doll created where you're creating a spirit to work your magic for you.
And it's easy magic. You make it very plain, so you don't have to be a seasoned working for 20 years at witchcraft. You can be
Mhm.
very new to it. It's very easy. So it's like candle magic's easy. It's
Yeah,
puppet magic's pretty easy.
yeah.
Um, So you just mentioned tag lock. So let's just define that so people know because that's not a term that's commonly found around. What
Yeah.
is
A tag lock is what connects and personalizes you to your doll. And a tag lock is something personal from you. The standard one that people think of is a little piece of your hair, because this is your hair, or your fingernail clippings. That also Hollywood has turned into, don't let a witch get your fingernails, don't let a witch get your hair out of your hairbrush, because they're going to do evil things with it. But it's not that you're going to do evil things with it. Again, that's a connection. It's a tag lock. If you don't have somebody here, a female, again, I breathe into my dolls, that pneuma, that life force of your breath. You might do a piece of old material, or maybe a baby protection puppet, and it's from with the baby's old, b- baby outfit that it born into it. You could do put if you could put astrological signs and sigils and symbols, photos and pictures. There's lots of ways to do it, but when you could have something really personal from that person, it's just connecting you right to it.
yeah, the you talk about the ethics of it because this kind of work you're doing on somebody or for somebody. And
Mhm.
so you talk a little bit about the ethics of puppets. So can you just mention that while we're talking about in that area, like
Yes,
the ethics of doing magic on other people?
yes. I personally think no, I don't see a reason to do negative magic on anybody. Not good or bad, evil or I do protective magic. You could do a binding and we'll talk about let's tie those arms up and tie those feet up so that person can't hurt me or my family. But I don't want to like start make you sick, make you do this because that's connecting to somebody. To me, I do all the protection you want, but to me, that puts you, if you do hexes and curses and dark magic, you live in a world of hexes and curses and dark magic. So what you do put out is what you get back, cause and effect, action and reaction, karma, whatever you want to call it. There's a million words for it, but it's basically to me, it's you have to live in the world you create. So, I mean, I could do some strong and powerful protection. If somebody's out to hurt me or my family or my business or my dog or my cat, heck yeah, I'm going to be one heck of a protection target. But I don't need to send that person, your head falls off or you've got nausea every day. Not that you're not tempted. We are all human, but why? Now they could do it back to me. Why not just get them out of your life altogether? Get them out of your life.
That's good. That's some good advice there, and you do have some good protection puppets, and the book has formulas for all of this. If anyone's questioning, like try to write it all down. What Patty's saying right now, it's all in the book. All of it's spelled out very very neatly. So maybe you can show us how to make one of these puppets. I think you have some stuff, and I have some stuff here to listen to you and try to
We
do it.
do. One of my favorite puppets, again, because it's not, is a paper napkin puppet. Just a plain old. And again, for me, say if you are going, what's good about these is, of course, you can keep them. I've had this one as a sample for a long time. Or if you want to send it off on the river to send your wishes on the water element, you use a very biodegradable herbs and paper, and I don't feel bad putting it into ocean or river or burning it up, but it's not toxic or burying it. You want to something you want to plant. So get yourself again just a thin little paper napkin. So again, first we're going to go through all the natural things, what kind of magic you're doing. I will set up my sacred space, whether you call the corners or set up a circle or do a prayer or do whatever you do within your practice. But get yourself just a plain old little square napkin. Again, before you get the napkin, you've already put out what kind of a puppet do you want to make? What kind of puppet do you want to make, Heather?
Well, I've got a gold napkin because that's what I had. So I'm kind of tempted. And I think I'm going to make something that's sort of rich with love, rich with
Ooh,
softness and emotion and love. That's the
oh,
poppet energy that I don't know who it's going to be for though, because I don't have any, maybe it's going to be for me. So I'll add my own tag lock in it, but something to sort of enrich love and emotion and kindness.
I think that's
That.
perfect. That is perfect. I'm going to make one, because I'm going to be in a stressful situation in the next week or so. I'm going to make one also for me, and I'll just make it for gentle calmness, loving as well, because it's a crazy time. We all need that. So I'm going to use a white napkin because that's what I have, and white works for everything, as we know. Like working with candles, it brings in the divinity and lightness. And I think I'm going to stuff mine mostly with some lavender right here. So the first thing you want, again, you've set up your sacred space, however you've done it. Um, if you want to write anything down, you want to do chants, you want to do this, you want to get all your ingredients ready. So the first thing in the exact making of the puppet is, again, you've set your intent. I've done some breathing exercises. I often will do what's in the way of this. And so you get whatever's in the way of it out of the way. So first off, put whatever you're going to make your head out of, your herb or whatever, gonna stick that right in the center of just a little handful, right in the center of the puppet. You're going to need some string. You can use tape too. I prefer string, but tape works in a pinch. It's just not as natural if you're going to put it in the ocean. But a little handful, I'm going to put that right in the middle of my puppet.
I'm using jasmine,
Mm,
and
I
I'm
can
gonna also.
actually smell it from here.
I know, right? It's so lovely, and I'm also putting in a shell patty. Is that okay to do that?
Well, yes, but think about it. Do you want the shell in the head or do you want to save the shell for the heart?
Ooh, that's a good point. Okay, so I'm gonna put the shell down. I'm gonna use it for the heart. I
Yeah,
like that.
I would end up putting this like I just drew a heart on this one, but you could put we'll get back to the part. So in the head, if there's anything you want to put in the head, you could write down a word like calm or relax on a little piece of paper or something, or just put your energy in to the herbs that you're putting in. And then
Are we putting our tag lock in the head too? Then?
I don't do the you can put a tag lock in there now. If you have something that you want a little piece of your hair in, you can put the tag lock anywhere you want. If you're ready for your tag lock and you have something, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Again, not hard and fast. Then I pull up all four corners, just like the four corners, and then grab just that little head. Grab that little head. Perfect. Twist it around a little. Twist your little head. Okay, your puppet has a head. Now I would tie it with a little string. Again, you can use tape if you have tape. I like string better because it's natural. Where are my scissors? I just threw them away. Now,
I'm using a
even
natural cotton string.
okay. So now because I like magic to be in every part, even when I'm tying my string, I will make that a witch's ladder. So getting to make my little circle. So I've got it ready and I am putting relaxed thoughts into I'm blowing that wish as I tie that knot. Because remember, spirit gets caught in knots. That's why we make witches' ladders and hanging things. So I put my wishes into my little knot on my little head. So right here, relaxation and calmness and good attitude. So now we have a little bitty head. Perfect. So now we're going to take two across from each other and we're going to create legs. Same way, same way.
What are we doing?
I
doing-
take two of the four ends, two ends that are across. Well, you
Okay.
could cross from each other to create legs. You're going to grab up a little leg, and then you're going to do the same thing with a little piece of string. Now think about it. Again, I like to put my intent into that. So if mine's going to be a relaxation while healing, I'm going to make this leg. I'm going to put my thought process into it. And oh, relaxed, healthy legs right there. That's simple. Then I'm going to take the leg on the other side. And if you want any attributes in the leg of your thing, put them in. Otherwise, just make your little leg. Happy, healthy legs. Okay. So here's a puppet with two legs. Beautiful. See, you're already more artsy craftsy than I am. It makes me so happy. All right. Now, in the body in the middle, if you want to put some more herbs or you wanted to put, again, you could put a photo, you could put your fingernails, you could put Write down words of intention. You could put a little more of that same herb into it. You could put something else. I'm going to put, just for increase things, I'm going to, just for the heck of it, put a little calendula right in the body there.
Ooh,
Stuff it in between those two legs. I'm stuffing a little bit in between those two
I got
legs.
jasmine all over me now.
Oh, yes. Hey, that's what's fun. And now this is where I would put the heart. So a seashell is a perfect heart because that represents flow and the ocean and femininity and the water element. Um,
I
do I
put it
have
right
one?
in I put it right in the center right here. Whoops.
Put it right in the center. So now you're going to create two arms. Now fold over your napkin so your herbs and stuff don't fall out. Kind of, not kind of rule, but you're going to pull your arms together to make little arms so your herbs don't fall out. You know, outsides in, insides out, if that makes sense.
For
No,
thing. I don't think it's working.
wait,
My
is
herbs are
that?
everywhere. I can't do. I can make a body. Let me see if I can figure out
Well,
how to.
oh, okay, then make them. You're again. If you can make, you can close up a body right here. Give it a waist. Why don't you, before we do arms? Why don't you give your, if you've got kind of herbs you use, make a waist on your doll right here, so you will hold in those extra herbs. I will, just for the heck of it. I will also make a waist.
I think mine's gonna have no arms.
It's gonna have arms, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. But I'm gonna put my two legs together, make a little waist. This is where we need Rob's shoot you from above camera and show how klutzy I really am with these things. So I have my head, I made a waist. And there's my two legs. Gonna have very long arms or wings. How's
I got
yours?
mine. Yeah. Mine's not gonna have arms, but
What
have
happened
arms.
to your other two? What happened to your other two?
I don't know. I think they were too short. I think they got wrapped up somewhere in the body.
That's
Look,
perfect.
look, I got arms. See? They're just long and skinny ones.
Right. Where did, oh my God, you're so cute though. He's got a chubby belly. Oh, it's so
That's
cute. All right. For anybody who wants to have arms, you don't have to have arms, of course. There is no, I'm going to, again, I'm going to make little arms out of this. So again, take a little bit of string. My string's getting very short myself. And again, anywhere you could put anything personal, there's no good place to do it, but put it anywhere you can. And again, I'm putting breath into all my knots. I'm putting breath into pretty much everything. There's one arm. I'm going to make another arm. Mine's kind of got really long arms, but my mom used to call me monkey girl because I had really long arms too until I grew into them.
I just use the extra string to be the arms.
That's perfect. Absolutely
This
perfect.
one.
I do that real quick.
This is. There's my puppet.
It is perfect. I just kind of make one last little tie underneath there.
What I love about these poppets is, like you said, these are biodegradable. So if you need to bury, if you're doing a binding or if you're doing a something for healing with the earth, you can bury them without worrying about them harming the earth or animals, or they're dried herbs and cotton and
Yeah,
paper.
all this natural stuff. So you get to see, yours still looks more like a person than mine. But again, if we had more time, I'd have put the arms a little higher up, had more of a shaped body. There is no right or wrong. They're going to be equally powerful, but you got such nice legs on you. So again, no right or wrong. Now I would be charging this doll like I would maybe do a doll here, doll now, doll come to me, doll here now, powerful it'll be, doll here now, give me relaxation, come, doll here, doll now. I've got everything everywhere too. I've got herbs everywhere. So I would chant it, I would charge it. I would personalize it however you can. On paper ones, I usually use a good old fashioned Sharpie to make yourself eyes and nose and a mouth. If you have green or brown eyes, if you have a greener or crap, do that. If you wear red lipstick, make a red lip if you want. If you didn't put a heart inside, you could put a little heart with a Sharpie on top. If you always wear a certain kind of a thing, or you have a certain tattoo you wear somewhere, personalize your doll as much as you can.
I just made a smiley face.
That's perfect.
See how simple it can be? I think I'm gonna give him buttons.
Oh yeah, that's cute. See, now yours, you wear scarves a lot, not all the time. You know, you could draw a little or make a little scarf on yours or a little paper scarf.
It's
There's
true.
endless things. So again, this if I can do it, any can do it. And again, string for arms, anything you want for arms. So again, you've just created, and this one again will burn beautifully if you choose to burn it. Will bury beautifully and ecologically. Will go off into water. I love bodies of water. I live by the Pacific Ocean. I can take things off into Mother Nature to send it off, and not be hurting any fish along the way. So be very careful. But you I don't want to take over your turn, but you have a pretty amazing kind of puppet too. I saw a peek of, right? Could you
I
show us?
do. I have a funny little poppet that I create. It's a pipe cleaner poppet. It's not biodegradable. It's good for ones if you want it to last for a long time. But yeah, here it is. See how simple a poppet can be. And I developed this to do in workshops for a quick, easy way to do it. So people would see how simple poppet making can be. And it's super fun. And if you want to see, I can make it real quick and
Yeah,
show you how to
show
do
us.
it. Yeah, let's do it. So you need 4 pipe cleaners, and so I have 4 long pipe cleaners. You can see them right here. I would say they're about 12 inches long. And like you said, you would pick the colors according to your needs. So you talked about that a little bit, and you give a nice outline in the book of what colors are kind of go with what kind of needs, love, or whatever. These kind of look like Yuletide. So maybe you want to make a Yuletide family puppet for a happy season, for example. This would be
Yeah.
one reason you would pick these colors. And then you start out with 2 and you just cross them like this and fold them over. So you wind up with an even on both even. Whoops. So you wind up with a T and you make these even. They're going to become the legs. Okay. Then you take this top part and now you have them like this. So now they're even. Okay. So then the next thing you do is you're going to take these 2 at the top halfway down and bend them. And that's the great part about this. All it is bending. So it doesn't require any art. So these are your arms now. It doesn't require any kind of skill whatsoever when it comes to
Yeah.
crafting. It's just bending pipe cleaners. We all did it, right? You remember
Right.
back in elementary school, pipe cleaner, everything. So you do that and then you twist it a little bit just so it holds. Okay. So now you have these are the legs and these are the arms. You see it starting to form. The next thing is we make the head. So you take another pipe cleaner about halfway and you're going to bend it around. You see how it's bent around here, bent around here. Almost like it's a backpack. I call it the backpack thing, so you can see how it's around.
Yeah.
And then, you will go ahead and well, I twist it once just to hold it, so you want it to stay there, and then you make a circle. And you can make the head as big as you want or as small as you want, because that's your head. And the fun part about this is you can then use the extra, which I don't have any extra here. I'm gonna get a little more extra to show you how fun this can be. This is where you start to personalize it. Well, who is it for? Is it for you? Do you have pigtails? Do you have a beehive? Is it long hair, short hair? You do want to do a hat? So you can take the extra and you twist it around, and then you can make whatever you want it to look like. And I've seen some people get real creative in the workshops with how they do the extra. Oops, let me do one more around here so they're even. So I did little horns on this guy. So
That's so cute.
Yeah, and you can do and I've done, like, ponytails and long, straight, long hair, depends how big you want it, and, you can even use a longer pipe cleaner for the head so you have extra, or you can use another pipe cleaner too, you can get creative. Like you said, you make it to fit who you're making it for yourself, right?
Right.
So you can see, so that we have one more left, and this again is creative, so basically, you're gonna start at the top. You take your last pipe cleaner and you put it right at the top underneath the arms and secure it there. Wrap it around, secure it so it stays. Then you're going to wrap it. So now I'm doing a wrap around the body till I get to the bottom where the hips are. And the reason for this pipe cleaner, one, is to secure the hips so the legs aren't just doing that. So you're going to wrap it around the hips a bunch of times so it secures them. So now they're not shaking anymore. See,
Ah,
now, what you do with the extra here is up to you. So, and how tight you wrap it. This is where you get creative again. You can wrap it with extra so that you have a more curvy shape, if you like. Give the hips a little bit more oomph and a little oomph up here. You get a curvy, nice shape. Or you can do it straight. Or you can make, if you're doing a puppet for an animal, you can do puppets for animals, right?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So you could do a puppet for an animal and have a tail.
There's your cat right there. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You have a cat puppet. So you can do anything. You can wrap it tight. You can put another one on. You can leave multiple colors. If we're doing a Yule puppet, you've got the red and green, right? So now your hips are nice and tight. So the next thing all you have to do is to make the legs. Now, you can do it multiple ways. You can do the legs. I've had people do the legs like this, where they're just these short little stubs, and you just secure it so you have these short little stubs. I like to make feet. So I will hold on. I can't do it while I'm showing. Need two hands for this. And whenever you bend the pipe cleaner together, you always secure it. And then another foot. And you make the feet as long or as short as you want. So he's now feet. And then you can give him hands if you want, or you don't have to. And so, but the idea for the feet and hands, though, is where you put all the things you were talking about, because this is not a puppet without the herbs and the tag locks and all of the connection, all that sympathetic magic stuff has to apply. So, you could easily put a stone, a stone that's a bead. You can weave it through, you can tighten it around, you can get pieces of hair and you can weave it into it. You can put other tag locks in. I had someone who cut out a face and taped it to here. You
That's
can
so
do that or
cute.
not.
I love that. Those are adorable.
It's a very quick way. They can like this one you might want to do the ritual and then, you activate the puppet and do all the things that we're talking about. And you might want to do it for, like I said, a good Yule, and then you put it on your Yule tree, on your mantle. You can add all kinds of anything to it, any of the tag locks. Obviously, you can't stuff this one. There are a bunch, I think, in your book where you talk about not being able to necessarily stuff them.
Right, right. You can't always stop. But again, you could work with oils and there's a million things you that
Yeah, and you
that
have
is adorable.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a super fun little easy puppet. It works out really well. And then I see people when I do it for a workshop, I see people later walking around with them. And so there's like a whole army of fight puppet. But they're not activated. We don't activate them in class, but yeah, so they're super fun to make. They're easy, and younger people to do it, you don't need crafting. So this just shows, and you have in your book a number of poppet recipes. That one's not there because it's something I created for a workshop, but you have some easy ones, some harder ones. It's fantastic. So tell me what are the best go over what are the best method or the best reasons to use a poppet spell? Like what are you looking to do with poppets? What is it best for?
Well, again, it's sympathetic magic, and it's you whatever you're trying to look to bring in your mouth mind. And we know both as witches and working with people. The most common ones are love, abundance or money, and then health. That is health and family. So saying again, if it's a romantic love, again, I might use a red or a pink. I might use a really big rose quartz or something, or a garnet or something for the heart. I might write words on it of love and things like that, bringing a love to me. Now, I personally wouldn't make them bring Ben to me because, again, that's manipulative magic to me. I know a lot of people do it, and I'm not even judgmental about that. But again, if you bring Ben to you and Ben's not the one, you're going to wish you never did that, if
True.
nothing else. But if you go, bring me the love of my life and somebody who makes me laugh and feels important and this and that. And guess what? If it's supposed to be Ben, it'll work on Ben, but you didn't state Ben. Say again, if somebody's looking for a specific job. Okay, that's money, it's abundance. Maybe you're going to use a green. Maybe you're going to use, oh, what if you stuffed it with like shredded up Monopoly money or play money? Get creative, get wild on these things. The more creative, because you're using your thought process or you're using your brain and then allowing that spirit to take over. But I think most everybody, just all those survival things. We want health, we want love,
You
we
can use
want
it
to
for anything,
survive.
sounds
Yeah,
like.
you could
S
use it for
so
anything.
not to bring it back to our original conversation, can you, if you just don't wanna craft anything, can you actually use a store-bought doll? And
You
not
can
a haunted one. I don't know if you'd wanna go with the haunted doll for a Hobbit, but it can be a
Yeah.
store-bought doll.
No, because that would be so much conflict. If you
Yeah.
had a haunted doll, like say, Belle, I don't want to do that. I don't want to give you, I don't, what? No. But you can buy a store bought. You could, and there's all sorts of things. Like say, if you wanted to make a puppet, again, none of my Barbies are haunted because they are the ultimate goddess. Saying I can't make, and I might, and I do have literally made to be goddess Barbies, but say if you go to a Goodwill or you get yourself old Barbie and you want to make certain she's representing you. Maybe she has your hair color or something that you want, or what, their heads come off. Barbie doll head, they come off. You could stuff that beautiful Barbie head with all sorts of things. If you can't put things inside the body cavity, write sigils and symbols under that cute little pink Barbie dress. Write words and sigils and symbols of things. Again, you're putting that life, you're breathing that life into the same thing. So
Right.
you could be store-bought dolls, you could be favorite dolls. Everything is intent. We know that, especially in creating puppet magic, is what you want, what you're going to get. I've seen some creative people on, I think it was Etsy. Um, they had little puppets, but you couldn't, they were already made like this. I keep her open because I always stuff different things. But they had zippers on them. I thought, how clever is that? You want a clever, so now you're putting your own little heart in or your own little herbs in or whatever you want.
I have to try that. It's like the Build-A-Bear of the witch world, right?
Yes, to
It's
build a
just
bear
like
of
a
the witch
little.
world for the creatively challenged, like some of us.
I love it, I love it, and just, mindful is that we don't bury or float Barbies down waters, though.
No, don't bury your float Barbies down water because you might, ruin a child's life if they see it like seeing Santa Claus floating down or something. And number one, they're not biodegradable. They'll be here in a million years. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I
But
think that's better for, like, sitting on mantles and healing
sitting
and
on your
stuff like
mantle.
that.
And why not make a beautiful, like, say if your kid has their favorite Superman doll, but it's not one that they really play with, turn that into a protection puppet for them or a creativity puppet for them. You really can. I mean, people have been putting magic into teddy bears as long as I can remember, sewing special things and protection into children's teddy bears. Do it with your kid's puppet. I mean, with your kids' toys, or even just charm their special little toys.
Is it Papa your go-to magic? Or maybe
I I think puppets, witches, ladders, and candles are my go-to because again, they're not too artsy crafty. I like where you're putting breath into everything. You can combine them all together. So now I've got my candle burning next to my puppet, which is a witch's ladder, and I'm wearing this around my wrist. Yeah.
yeah, you got it all, and you don't, and they're not hard, I love that. I mean, poppet or candle magic for that matter is the easiest of them all probably, right? And the
Yeah.
witch's
Yeah.
ladder is just not magic. That's great. Maybe you need to do some, follow-up book on candle magic and not magic to complement it.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, no,
But
I
like
love how
powerful
easy
and
it is.
powerful witch kind of.
Yeah,
Because
empowering
again,
witches
I have so many
everywhere.
ideas about candles. Like my favorite thing that I've been doing for a while. I'm always in a hurry. I'm busy. I'm busy. You're busy. We're busy. We both live insanely busy lives. That's why these are so fast. These we could quickly. My go-to on quick candle magic now is birthday candles.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
And they're cheap.
stick them in a little thing of coffee beans to increase them, and if you're doing kitchen magic, you're making that lasagna, I'm gonna pull out, oh, it's a money lasagna, and make a little green birthday candle. You don't have to carve into it, put your thought into it.
Pow.
And birthday
Yeah.
candles, they come in every color. You get a box of 24.
Yeah. They're cheap, they're easy, and they're great for busy people.
Yeah.
Busy witches. So we've talked about poppets, we've talked about haunted dolls, and in both times you mentioned something really important to magic in general. And I want to kind of get back to that. You mentioned intuition. You mentioned trust your intuition. Use your intuition when you're making the poppet. Trust your intuition when you're talking to, or when you're working with your haunted doll or trying to discover that. So I know that's really important, and I agree because when you get a doll, it's your intuition. I know from your book, from working with you, and from my own work that that's one of the things that tells you whether a doll is haunted or not, or has the energy. But a lot of people have trouble with their intuition, and they bring the doll to you. So tell me what that process is. Tell me what it feels like when you are experiencing a doll someone's brought to you. What do you go through magically, spiritually?
Well, the first thing you have to do is really learning to trust your intuition, whether you want to get mediumship done or just communicate with your doll, is get that your logical left brain out of the way. You got to get that logical left brain out of the way so you could hear the whispers of spirit. So you could tap into that heart. So it's like, well, she came from Germany, so she must be a German girl. You don't need all of that. It's going to get in the way. So it's like that first instinct before you start overthinking it, that first gut feeling like, I think this is a little girl. Oh, it couldn't be before you throw it down a rabbit hole. We just not counting witches, not counting dolls, not we all need to touch our intuition. One of my big things of the world is that in our modern Western, non-mystical, complete left brain, logic focused society, we've lost the magic. Taking art out of schools, taking the mystery out of religion and spirituality and everything. We need it back, and then that left brain will be that much better. So it's just getting out of your own way and trusting. I feel this doll. It does have a spirit. I feel this doll. Trust it. Don't be afraid of being wrong. As soon as you're afraid of being wrong, you're throwing that left brain. If you're wrong, you'll figure it out. You'll mold it as it goes. But that first thought, that first feeling, that first knowing before logic sets in.
And that's important. It's important, I think, to hear that from you and hear it from other colleagues that are doing the work because it is hard to trust your intuition. But
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest things for me is actually having been around a doll that I know that somebody's called haunted to actually feel it. I know you've been around a lot of haunted dolls. I have one of my haunted dolls right here, and
Oh,
I'm
show
pull
it.
her up. But when I first encountered her, she had a very, very it was like thick as mud energy around her. She doesn't now, although I can feel her energy very intensely right now. But I think I would not have known that or trusted that if I hadn't experienced, you know, practitioners you have been doing it longer. And I know that people really value that when they come to see you, is that
Yeah.
you're giving them not only information about their doll, but you're validating their intuition and thoughts.
Yeah.
Because you've seen a lot of haunted serious you mentioned Peggy earlier, but have you encountered any of the other most famous
Yes.
haunted dolls?
I have danced with Annabelle because I
Oh,
could
oh,
put up so much
look,
protection.
Annabelle, Annabelle. Let's not call her Annabelle. This is Clarabelle. I'm just gonna pick her up and hold her. She loves to hear about her big bad sister. Um,
Yes.
so go ahead, Annabelle.
Yeah,
You
I
dance with
Annabelle,
Annabelle.
your Clarabelle is beautiful.
Thank you.
Last fall I was at the Warrens. They're starting to tour with Annabelle.
Yeah.
She's made front page news lately. Burning down plantations, escaping prisoners, burning up Marie Laveau's house. She's getting a lot of credit. Um, but I was doing the Warrens Paracon, and where my table was, where I sell my books and my power panties and all the things, was separated by only a curtain from all the Warrens' haunted objects, including Annabelle in her case. And I was getting heebie-jeebies, and I was like, "No one's gonna come up to my table. They're not gonna be drawn here. Even if they're into the haunted thing, it's just So I had to put up so much warding and protection both around my table and then around myself since I was sitting right there and I'm so empathic. You want her to drain you and be dead by the end of the day. I put up so much protection that later that evening we went into that where the setup museum was. I danced with Annabelle all night. And I think she kind of liked it. I had so much, you know, respectfully, of course. To me, the one rule about anything, paranormal world, witchy world, is respect. So I have danced with Annabelle. I've seanced with Peggy. I have a replica of Robert the Doll from our friend Dave. And you feel the energy. And it's so interesting, like you're saying, what people bring it to me and they're not trusting their own intuition. And I'll go, oh, it's about a 10-year-old, whatever, whatever. And they're like, yeah, that's what I thought too. See, you knew, you just didn't trust it. How often it is, even with regular readings, it's like, I'm telling you everything you already know, right? Right. Learn to trust it, those whispers.
I think that's amazing advice. I think that's amazing advice working with haunted dolls, any paranormal work you do, or just witchy work, like knowing your spell works, knowing your puppet spell works, knowing your candle spell, and just any of it, or
Yeah.
working with ancestors or spirits or whatever. I think that's the best. That's the best advice that you can give a young witch who's just learning, and validating that feeling. So that's really amazing, Patty. You're such a good witch mama.
Ha 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 ha. My family. All around me, my family.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Have you encountered any one last story about haunted dolls? Have you encountered any interesting ones that people have brought to you that have stood out?
Somebody actually, this was so cute. I'm talking yesterday. Um, some I was at an event, Creep It Real in somewhere in Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. And this one girl had brought all her haunted dolls. She was kind of like my handler, my keeper. Brought all her haunted dolls, and they were beautiful. And she put them up in my seance room and in my workshop room and all this thing. And she had this beautiful little doll, haunted doll. I haven't got to know her yet, but she's just gorgeous and little.
Oh, look at her.
I know, and she goes, "You wanna keep her on your table?" And she brought so much joy to I put her right by Dollcraft. She kinda matches. She's got the orange, she's got everything. She dresses like, I mean, every day I've usually got some lacy sleeves on, wearing over 13 outfits all at the same time, just like her. So, and haven't got to know the doll yet or get anything. I haven't had a moment to do it, but the joy and the interest she brought into the book just sitting there, this little bitty doll, was amazing. It will draw people in, it'll push people away. Again, there's that intuition. Do you
Mhm.
want something to draw you in or push it away? And the end of the day, she gifted her to me. Her name is Bianca. She got her in Ohio in like a secondhand store. I got her in Pennsylvania. So that's my story. And I haven't got to know the spirit in her yet at all. So I'll
Well,
be careful with her at first, and we'll see that maybe everybody gets along. You got to make sure everybody gets along.
yeah.
But
Well, you have time. You'll have to report back on how Bianca does. It sounds like she's got some positive energy to offer to the room and to your work. So that's good.
if she sells the book, more power to her, you know?
Hey, absolutely. Maybe she's got the spirit of some kind of old merchant from a
Yeah,
bygone era.
exactly.
I love it.
But
I love it. So, Patty, so we know that there's this terrible fear of dolls, like clinical. And I do know somebody who has it. I know actually several people. Do you know anybody who actually could not go in, who can't even with the
I,
doll?
I do know a few people, again, entering my house because I've got a Barbie castle with all Barbies, not haunted, but just a fear of dolls in general. And then you add the haunted on top. It's like the icing. So I know several people, and we actually know a mutual one who kind of her fear, right?
Yep. Is it possible to get through the fear? That's the question. And we know somebody who did actually, and now has started out with a couple not a dolls, and then eventually moved into a doll,
Dolls,
real
calling them
doll.
dolls, even though they were dolls, and she would call them not a dolls to make herself feel better. It's our Courtney. So if you guys come and watch us on Wednesday night at the Witches Movie Coven, you will see Courtney conquer her fear of dolls in general.
So, what is your advice to anyone out there who's listening who was terrified to watch any of this program because of the subject matter? How can they possibly get over their fear of dolls? Any witchy advice?
My witchy advice is my mundane advice is just do it. Just do it. Take your breath because the scary stuff is the good stuff. Always. The stuff outside your comfort level is the good stuff. My
Mhm.
witchy advice is change your thought pattern about fear. Fear can freeze you in your tracks, make you not want a doll, be afraid to go into a room, or fear is one of the biggest and best motivators we have. Like I'm in a roller coaster, but I'm so scared. It's like I'm gonna hold a haunted doll and I'm gonna survive because the empowerment you feel after conquering a fear is 10 times bigger than the fear itself was. So just and change your perspective. As soon as you change your perspective about fear and make it a good thing, then it becomes obsessive like me. I want to get scared. So how haunted of a house can I find? That's why I did Wipeout the TV show. That's why I did Master Chef. That's why I did America's Got Talent. It's like, how scared can I get?
I think that's actually true. I used to hate horror movies, and then I just started watching them, and now I absolutely love them. I
Yes.
wonder if that's what Courtney went through because we did talk a lot about dolls in the beginning, over and over. Eventually, I think she came around.
She
So
came
it is
around
possible.
beautifully. And now
It,
there's the whole collection.
a whole collection, and you can see it in behind her during the Witches movie coven.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Patty, for having me here to interview you in your living room space, pretty much, to talk about one of my favorite subjects and your favorite subjects, haunted dolls, and puppets. Oh my! Um, yeah, the Wizard of Oz is another conversation we need to
Yes.
have at some point, Patty.
Yeah.
Right?
We
you
we
know,
have oodles of things in common, my friend.
That's so true. But I would like to know while we're still talking about puppets and not getting off subject too much, is where can people find your book? Maybe even a signed copy of your book.
They can find my book everywhere. If you would like a signed copy of my book or we have some very special packages, go to pattynegri.com, pattynegri.com. But you could buy it in shops, in bookstores, in shops, and whenever you can. We like to say go to your local shop. You know, our brick and mortar stores need all the help they can get. But of course, you can get it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and from Llewellyn. So get it wherever you can. Just
For sure. And where else? And I know you're constantly touring and doing paranormal conferences, talking haunted dolls live. So where can people find you if they have a haunted doll or one that might be haunted? They want to ask you about it. Where
yes.
can people find you in
All
person?
over the place. My next place up is going to be in July. I'm going to be at Comic-Con in San Diego doing a witchy panel and of course talking about my haunted dolls. I've got I just booked a Tucson Comic-Con, which is a paranormal convention within it. Then I'm doing Maine Paranormal and Horror Con, Rock Island Roadhouse, Midwest Pagana Manamana. Pagana. It's not Paganicon that you do and I want to do. It's Pagananamanamicon and all sorts of places. But again, I don't expect you to remember that. Go to pattynegri.com. It's listed on my thing with links to everywhere because I will have my book everywhere where you can get a signed copy right there. We can take a picture together, whatever you guys want.
Oh, here's my copy. I need you to sign my copy for sure.
Yes, yes.
That is
And
yet to happen.
and I want to thank you for taking over my role. You're a better Patty than I am. but
No, not at
Eh,
all.
no, but you're a better Heather Patty. Actually, we're a pretty good tag team, my friend.
I think so.
We could put on our Glenda dresses, our wicked. You could sing the entire soundtrack of every Wizard of Oz song. I'll wear the dress. We've got it all. But thank you. So tell people a little bit about you because you have a pretty amazing book out as well, and where they can find you.
My book is Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. And so, of course, that lead into our shout out our other podcast on Wednesday, the Witches Movie Coven. You join us there. We talk about movies and witches talking about witches in movies. And that is the topic. That's the topic of my book. I like to talk about how witches are represented in movies from early days of Hollywood to today. So that's my book. Lots of good stuff in there. It's a great read as long while you're watching movies is when you should read the book. Watch the movies, read the book. Watch the movies, read the book. It's really fun. So that's
Yeah.
what I do. And of course, working with wonderful witchy authors. You can find me at heathergreen.net. at the Witches Movie Coven on Wednesdays, of course, live and in person. And I attend a bunch of pagan and witchy festivals throughout the years, and I present sometimes on Haunted Dolls, sometimes on movies.
Uh, So thank you so much. Again, I like this tag team thing. It's beautiful. So you guys like her, follow her, go to her website, go to events and see her there, and let's play with dolls together, shall we?
We shall.